Welcome to Weekly News Spot, a program that covers the most significant political developments in the Middle East and Africa and airs once a week. I'm Ashley Douglas. Let's get straight to it. The first flight carrying cotton sacks from Kenya to Somalia took off on Sunday morning, a week after the presidents of both countries met in Nairobi. Cotton trade is a significant economic advantage for Kenya, but many Somalis believe it is a comprehensive mental and physical assault aimed at undermining Somali's competence and mental aptitude. Somalia banned cotton shipping in March 2020, citing coronavirus limitations, but the suspension was never removed due to political disputes. What exactly is the Somali-Kenya barter trade system? Kenya and Somalia reached an agreement in which Kenya Airways will commence flights from Nairobi to Mogadishu, which is a positive sign for both nations. Similarly, they also decided to restore their border, which had been closed for over a decade. On the other hand, Kenya lost 20 billion shillings per day when it lost the cotton market in Somalia. According to the Finance Ministry, the import of cotton produces 1.3 billion in tax income in 2021. Kenya's forthcoming elections on 9th August. The candidates are Mr. Raila Odinga, aged 77, who will be making his fifth attempt at the presidency. The second one is the current Deputy President William Ruto, aged 55, will be making his first attempt. Coming third is George Wajakoya, aged 63, who will be attempting it for the first time, and lastly is David Mwora Wahiga of the Ngano Party, who will be making his second trial. Odinga came closest to power when he was appointed prime minister in 2008 and has been trying to win over supporters of the outgoing President Kenyatta. Remember that these two were fierce rivals in the 2017 election, but they made up later at a highly publicized event dubbed the Handshake. Mr. Ruto is vying under the banner of Kenya Kwanza, which means Kenya First in Swahili. He is claiming to be a champion of the poor and promises to grow the economy, and believes that the same luck that saw him win a parliamentary seat in 1997 in his first attempt still follows him. George Wajakoya was once a street boy in Kenya and a grave digger in the UK, and claims to be the true representation of the Kenyan poor. He has, however, left many bewildered by his proposals. He says that if he wins, he will legalize farming and producing marijuana and also the exportation of snake poison. Many are still questioning the feasibility of his plans. About marijuana, that would be a steep mountain to climb now that it is an illegal drug in Kenya. Kenya's Catholic Church has even condemned his proposal, saying that drug abuse among the Kenyan youth would worsen if marijuana was legalized. His party is called the Roots Party. Senior counsel David Wahiga has been a long-serving advocate with experience of more than 35 years. He claims that it is only he and his running mate Ruth Mucheru, the only politicians promising to fight corruption head-on. How will the election look like? Kenyans will cast multiple votes on the voting day. The voting will be for the president, county governors, and county assembly members. Members of parliament and senators for the national parliament, together with an extra vote to elect one woman representative for each of the 47 counties, to sit in the National Assembly. Polling stations will open for 12 hours from 6 a.m. local time to 3 p.m. Anyone who will be waiting to vote after closing time but still in the queue will be allowed to vote. Once the casting of votes is over, officials will start counting the votes at each polling station. To win, a candidate will require more than half the votes cast nationally and at least 25% vote in at least 24 of the 47 counties. If the threshold is not achieved, the election goes into a second-round runoff between the top two candidates. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov African tour. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov landed in Cairo late Saturday. He was to visit Egypt, the Republic of Congo, Uganda, and Ethiopia. The chief diplomat of Russia first held talks on Sunday with President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, and then his Egyptian counterpart, Same Shukri. He also met with the Arab League Secretary General Ahmed Abul Gheit, and later addressed the Pan-Arab Organization. Mr. Sergio undoubtedly seemed to be rallying African nations on the Russian side, praising them for refraining to join the West in pressing sanctions on Russia. He called this an independent path. Egypt refused to take sides in the war in Ukraine and has continued to maintain close ties with both Russia and the West. Incidentally, Egypt happens to be among the world's largest importers of wheat, mostly from Russia and Ukraine. Egypt's President Abdel Fattah has cultivated a close relationship with Russian President Putin, and both leaders have strengthened bilateral ties in the past few years. From Egypt, Russia's foreign minister visited the Republic of Congo on Monday for the first time, where he met President Denis Sassou at his residence in Oyo, 400 kilometers north of Brazzaville. His visit was to seek support against Western pressure over its invasion of Ukraine. Like many other African nations, the Republic of Congo has remained neutral in the conflict. The third stopover for Mr. Lavrov was in Uganda, where he met Ugandan President Museveni in Entebbe on Monday. In a joint press conference at State House, the two discussed the current energy situation and the food crisis. He continued to say that Russia not only would sell oil to interested countries, but also assist them to develop their infrastructures like refineries. He added that Russia was committed to discussing that issue with Uganda. Museveni, on his part, said that he saw no reason to criticize Moscow over the invasion of Ukraine. Uganda was among 17 African nations that abstained in a March vote on a resolution to condemn the Russian invasion. Lavrov praised Uganda and other African states for that, accusing the West for displaying a colonial mind set by demanding that Africa stand against Russia. On Wednesday, Sergei Lavrov was in Ethiopia on his conclusion of his African tour. To butter up Ethiopia, he expressed Russia's support for the government, which he said was being internationally sidelined. He even went ahead to pledge support for the government in Addis Ababa in its efforts to subdue opposition groups, while criticizing the U.S. and Europe for meddling in its affairs. He continued to remove blame from Russia for invading Ukraine. Lavrov said these words during a joint media briefing with his Ethiopian counterpart, Demek Mekonnen. Demek, on his side, thanked Russia's unwavering support in helping Ethiopia to safeguard its sovereignty. And now, more news from other parts of the world.